introduce our next amazing speaker today. Joining us from Montreal. Are you in Montreal, Darlene? I know you're in.
I am.
Yes. So
yeah.
we went from Vancouver now over to Montreal is our next stop. And Darlene Wong is a natural-born artist and an interior designer. She founded Boudoir and Private Spaces Interiors in 2018. In 2019, she produced and hosted her first podcast called Boudoir Therapy, where she interviewed inspiring women from her community who live with purpose. After a traumatic divorce, which led her to a world of misbelief and toxic relationships, isolated from her closest and most beloved friends and family, constantly feeling guilty and judged for standing up for her rights, and then finally tumbling into a chronic mental instability with insomnia, depression, and PTSD, her biggest fear had finally become being heard. Alone with her 2 children and nowhere else to go but home, she began to paint. Her artistic traits and interior design experience are what made her realize that she could redesign her life and her surroundings, and she did. And so can you. Put on your invisible crown, wear your red lipstick, and design a new heart of the home, your boudoir. It's an intimate design experience that requires a new state of mind, a shift in your priorities, a second chance to choose your surroundings. Fully customized, fully designed, and with an intention to get you to go to bed, because self-care starts with a good night's rest and a paintbrush. Boudoir Interiors is like a man cave, but for queens. Please welcome our next amazing speaker, Darlene Wong.
Thank you, Sharon, for that introduction. It was really more hyped up than the way I wrote it. But I also want to thank everyone who is here, everyone who's giving me the chance to speak. It is a turning point in my life. I will be noting this down in my calendar, July 18, 2020, for the rest of my life, because I've got a story to share. And I'm welcoming all of you, all the girls, all the women, all the queens, all the moms, all the feminines into my private boudoir. Are you guys ready? The best way to do it is just to cuddle up in bed. So if you're still in bed, then you're almost there at being a queen. I'll tell you where the story starts, and I'll tie it all together, because in the end, this is really an interior design story. Once upon a time, a little Chinese girl was hipping and hopping and skipping in the lush tropical forest of her grandmother's backyard in the Dominican Republic. Her favorite was climbing the mango trees. That's where she would hide so that she wouldn't have to eat her lunch. I love my mangoes. Now, I knew I was different, but I didn't know how and why until a few years later. My name is Darlene Wong. I am Chinese and I am Dominican, raised in the Caribbean, living in Montreal, and have studied in Asia to get a little bit of everything that I could inside me and to share it around me. I grew up with lots of laughter, lots of fun, lots of traveling, because I had family in Montreal and the Dominican Republic. So I had a much more open mind about what I saw and what I felt. But maybe I felt too much. Maybe I was too sensitive. Maybe I asked too many questions. Maybe I am a troublemaker. Maybe I am not worthy of being heard. Maybe my feelings just don't matter. Queens, this story is not as colorful as it seems. I was raised by my grandmother in the Dominican Republic, and then soon after came back to Montreal to start elementary school. My mother was a teenager when she was pregnant with me, and it was very natural to have the mother take care of your children while you go to school or work. You have to put yourself in that mentality in the Caribbean. It's not North America, but what I've noticed is that it's not so far either. When I came to Montreal, I remember I had a sister. I have a sister now, and I have a new dad. It wasn't too long until my new dad, my stepfather, was imprisoned, and my mom was alone. All of a sudden, at 12 years old, I became a parent. I became a parent for my younger sister, who was 4 years younger than me. I was a parent for my mother, who didn't know how to deal with divorce and emotions, and just being able to find a place where she can trust and feel safe to express and speak with someone. I lived my whole life conditioned that I am a caregiver and I am meant to serve and I am meant to fix your problems and I am meant to take care of you. And I am here just for you. Everything that I do is just for you. So I said to myself, well, I better be the smartest one here. I'm going to be going to school. I'm going to be studying. I'm going to learn everything I need to learn because I've got a lot of responsibilities. You know what happens to a child when a child becomes a parent? You lose your childhood. You lose the fact of actually embracing life. When I was that little Chinese girl in the forest, I was living my inner art. That's what I say when I am living my true me. I'm an artist and it's all inside me. My body is a canvas. I've got my paintbrush and I can paint anything I want inside me, around me. I didn't realize that all of this time, all of this conditioning, all of this brainwashing was actually going to set me up for the biggest trap of my life. A trap where I am in a cage, where I can no longer move, where I am definitely no longer heard, and where nobody really cares about my feelings. I had to call the police on my ex-husband several times. And I tried to explain to my family what was going on in the household in closed doors. Oh, Darlene, you're just overreacting. You're just too overly sensitive. You know how you are. Plus, you're a troublemaker. You know, nothing's ever good around you. But I'm being hurt. Like, I'm actually being hurt. I would take my meds in front of my family members and be like, I'm taking these. Why are you taking these? Well, because I have a depression. I'm working through a depression. Oh, you're not depressed. How do you know what I feel? And what I have noticed is that those who really didn't want to take the time to get to know me completely denied and dismissed my feelings. If I felt like this, they would tell me, no, you feel like this. If I told them I learned something new in school today, nope, this is what it is. If I wanted to do something wild, well, it's not the traditional, so let's just categorize it as a troublemaker. The truth is, I have been living in an environment that has been dysfunctional for generations and generations. And when I decided to leave my ex-husband, it was as if I decided to leave everyone else around me. Somehow, they made it about them and completely dismissed my feelings, just completely dismissed what I was going through. In the last 4 years, I have had to move 4 times, still going through my divorce with my ex-husband. It has dragged on because he wants control and I want to be free like a dragonfly. And what did my family suggest? You're better off staying with him, Darlene, because he has money and you have 2 babies and you've got nowhere to go. You're right. I have nowhere to go. Until I called the police a second time. And that did not change anybody's way of wanting to maybe listen to me, of maybe to wanting to pretend. I don't want to pretend anymore. But I guess I'll have to accept that I will be alone. And in that case, I've got a paintbrush and I'm going to paint my world. And I'm going to call this world a boudoir. My boudoir is my therapy. My boudoir is my safe space. My boudoir is my new heart of the home. Because I am done. I am done with the kitchen. I am done with the cooking and the cleaning and the whining and the picking and the dirty and the sweeping. I am done with the messes. I am done with the hosting. I am done with the planning. I am done being everyone else's help, everyone else's caregiver. I'm done, and I'm okay. I'm okay with that now. But I have had to be completely isolated from everyone that I ever knew, from everyone that I ever trusted, from everyone that I thought unconditionally loved me. Well, that unconditional has conditions. So sit tight, cross your legs, Darlene, and shh. Keep all of these secrets just for you. What happens here and there and to you, nobody must know. But how does that make any sense if we don't share our experiences, if we don't share when we are being hurt, if we don't share what emotional abuses, what psychological abuses, and with physical abuses? How do we share in silence what is really happening on the inside? Simple. It's a boudoir. It's about changing your state of mind. It's about shifting from the kitchen to the bedroom and saying, I'm going to bed now. And this time, what happens in my boudoir stays in my boudoir. I had a spark about 2 years ago when I launched my brand, the concept, the idea, whatever you want to call it. I think I have to relaunch because no one heard me. I have to speak louder. No one is listening. But maybe today you'll listen. Maybe today you'll prioritize you. Maybe today you'll stop. Just stop and go to bed. Because that's all I want to do. And I'm okay with that now. I found a way to love being alone. I found a way to create my own world. I found a way to get me to listen to me. And that is my #1 supporter. My family is composed now of me, Noah, and Liam, my 2 children. That's it. Everyone else, you don't belong in my boudoir. You don't belong here if you cannot feel me. You don't belong here if I cannot speak my voice. And I am, and I will, continue speaking for me and other queens who join me. In 2019, a year after my launch, I realized I need help. I need help to put this together. I need to find who I can trust. But who? I've got no one else around me but me. That's when I found out about podcasting. And I created my show, Boudoir Therapy, the podcast, where I got to choose my mentors. I got to choose the queens and ask them vulnerable questions about how they live their inner art. And they responded. And I was fueled. I was fueled and refueled and refueled. And little by little, I realized I was not really alone. Although the show did take place, the recordings in the boudoir, I just didn't feel alone. And this was something that just made me feel like I was the queen of my empire. I was being trained by the best of the best. I made my own team. I chose my own team. Next, I designed myself a queen's chair because the only person that's going to help me rise is me. And a queen deserves a queen's chair. It's not that easy. I make it sound easy, but it's not. I now have what's called a chronic mental illness, which includes PTSD, depression, and insomnia. And I am on a mission to try to eliminate the medication that I take and fuel myself with my own boudoir therapy. You know how? By interviewing others, other women, other queens, other girls, other moms like you, who also want to live their inner art. Imagine having the most comfortable experience in the comfort of your own home, in the new heart of the home, which we call your boudoir, all made up from your emotions, from your best emotions, from your best times. Remember the little Chinese girl climbing up the mango tree? I want my boudoir to smell like a mango tree. What do you want your boudoir to smell like? What do you want it to feel like? Does it have textures? Does it have patterns? Is it soft? Is it vintage? Does it have lots of paint? Is it messy? What is it? You don't have to answer me right now. I suggest you go to bed because you're going to need to rest. You're going to need to reconnect. Reconnect to those moments. And then finally, you'll be able to explore your surroundings, explore what you want, explore what feels good. We are lacking a connection between ourselves and our environment. Are you kidding me? Everything has vibrational energy. Every single feeling, every single smell, every single sound, everything you see. Colors have excellent vibrational energies to uplift your mood. Laying out your room in a certain way can also help introduce a good flow of chi energy. There's so much you can do with the space you have, but the space you really need to focus on is this boudoir space. I would like to have a challenge. I would like to challenge 3 guests that are on the show today to contact me for a 1-hour, free of charge, emotional bedroom design experience so that you can see how I can bring you back to who you are, and so that you can portray that, and so that you can feel it all around you. Because in the end, you're the only one who's going to be able to help you rise like a queen